Well, hello and welcome. Today I am so happy because for so many years I've been talking about this topic, and today I get the chance to actually just reach out to more people through video technology and obviously the magic of YouTube. And I want to talk to you today about something that has been a passion of mine for many years. And it's interesting how the world is evolving, but definitely being passionate about what you talk about is key in making sure that a great message is brought forth. And today, the theme of my of what I want to share with you is actually what I consider needs to be the new revolution. And when we look at everything that's happening and all the jobs that are being lost, all the people that are so um, disgusted at times, but certainly so upset about their work and not being happy doing what they do. It gets you thinking, and it certainly has gotten me thinking for many, many years now. And one of the things I remember is when I was growing up and going to college and all that, that finding something that made you happy wasn't necessarily the light that guided our way, that guided my way for sure. It was certainly not what was giving me direction. It was more about doing something that yes I liked, but that it would also be something profitable, something worth pursuing. And what's interesting about this is if we go about life that way, we may actually end up spending a life that is neither filled with great successes and great achievements, but also a life that may end up being too unfulfilled, if you will. Not as happy as it should be, not as happy as we might want it to be. So, what I want to talk to you about today is where is this all coming from? What has brought us to where we are today? And you will debate, and I will completely agree, that it is many, many things. There are many reasons why we are living the reality that we're living today. But one of the things that I really want to focus on is the way we're educated. Now, it's interesting when we talk about education, we don't think about training, but in reality, being educated is being trained. So, from the moment we're born, pretty much, we're really being trained on how to work and live in this life, in this world, in this society. And that's where really most of the cultural differences come about because each culture works differently. So we need to be trained to behave differently in different parts of the world. But that's besides the point. We then go into school and we continue being trained. And then, according to the American way of doing things, ideally, we go to college and we continue being trained. And the one thing that most people don't know is that the way we are educated today, yes, with some modifications, but in essence, the structure of our educational system was created back in the not in the Industrial Revolution, but early 20th century, and it responded to a need from the Industrial Revolution that was going on in the world to actually have more skilled labor uh, in order to satisfy the demand that was being created. So, in short, we created a system of education that helped our citizens, our people, become better trained to satisfy the needs of industry. And that hasn't changed. Now, we all know that we definitely live in a world that is completely different from the world that we were living in the beginning of the 20th century. But we have not changed significantly the way we educate and we train ourselves. So, with that, I want to leave you today in this first part of a several part series with this thought. moving forward, what can we do? What should we do? Because we know that the way things are today is not healthy. It cannot be sustainable. And we cannot continue living in a society where we're losing so many jobs, there are so many people unemployed, and even worse, there are so many people dissatisfied with their lives because they're not happy in life. And a lot of that has to do with them doing something to make a living that is not satisfying to them, that doesn't make them happy. With that, I also want to say that I believe that the difference, the shift, the change, the revolution needs to come or move from being focused on jobs and industry and actually starting being focused on us as people. Imagine this. If each of us was trained, well, first was taught how to identify where our strengths and our passions lie. And then we moved to actually do something in life to make a living or just in general that capitalize and maximize our strengths. And you got a community full of people that did that. And in doing that, you had a group of communities that did that and ended up with a nation that does this. You would have a nation or even the world being so much stronger. Because think about it. If each individual does what they're most, where there's, does things that speak to their strengths, wouldn't it fall to reason that then the society that they live in would be stronger? And if that is the case, then, the ripple effect, so on and so forth. So, for our next video blog, if you will, let's call this that, we're going to be going deeper into looking at the individual. How can we become happier with who we are, what we do, and what we're doing here in this world? And how can we change our north, if you will? If we change our stars and truly lead much more successful lives. And I'll just leave it at that for now. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that this rings true to your reality and what you see in the world as well. And I definitely look very much forward to seeing you in part 2 of this new revolution. Take care.